A lot of the movies that are like action movies, the main character, it's somebody that's really tough, and where you don't really see that much emotion in them. They're very busy surviving, and they're really tough guys or tough women. And Everly, it's actually an emotional wreck. And when the movie begins, she's an absolute emotional wreck. And yet she still manages to survive from this place over and over and over. So that was very, very intriguing to me. And also, I really like the idea of making a more intimate kind of action film where it all happens in one place, it all happens in one apartment, and you're not bored for an instant. The challenge of continuing to transform the place and the character and continue to surprise the audience minute by minute was fascinating to me, and the fact that the script did it so successfully. And just when you think like, what else could happen now, you would be surprised again. So I love that about the film, and I think that audience are gonna really love the experience of seeing an action film that you're not admiring from a distance, but that actually captures you emotionally from the very beginning and keeps you emotionally involved in a thrill to the end in a very personal way, in a very intimate way. I thought the idea of playing a character that discovers that there's so much more strength in her than she ever suspected, and the fact that the film successfully has the audience experience this discovery with Everly together. It's something that it's gonna make that our audience are gonna connect to the character, and everybody will identify a little bit and root for her. This is a film that I would love to see, and I think every woman is gonna like this film because her pain is so real, and it's really intense. Yet it's so full of explosion and intensity, also in a very masculine way, and tension, and you don't know what's happening. And I mean, it's so psychologically intense that sometimes some of the relief comes from the action moments and all the shooting, and you almost take a break from like, oh, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. So I think that this is definitely a virtue of the film, to be able to attract the female and the male audience. The best thing I can take out of this film that makes me feel very proud is that I really feel like every day we showed up and we elevated the film. Everyone involved elevated the film to a better level. Every day when we showed up, whatever was there on the page, whatever you could possibly imagine, the minute we all came together and committed ourselves to it, every night, I think everybody can agree, you'd go home thinking that what was done that day was so much better that you could possibly imagine, or of what it was on the page. Well, Joe is like really young in spirit, and he has so much energy, and we've been so lucky that he does, because this film has been so demanding. He's always there, like so full of energy and so ready to go, and that's been really helpful, you know, to have a motor. And I'm really also very grateful to Joe because he's been an absolute adventurer in showing up and figuring out what's the best we can do today. In my own personal categories, when I think of Everly, I don't think that Everly is going to be an action film because I want to become an action movie star. I think that Everly, and I hope that Everly, it's a really good film. That was just a good film. And some people will think it's a thriller or a drama or an action film, and it doesn't matter. But it's never going to be just an action film. It's not a film that I think when people think about it, they're just it's another action film. Never. I think it's definitely one of a kind.